Welcome into the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's have a look at this new Johnny Marr record entitled Fever Dreams, Parts 1 through 4. He released that on February 25th. This is his fourth solo outing, and it follows 2018's Call the Comet, and I freaking love Johnny Marr. This might ruffle some feathers, but I think the best thing that ever happened to his career was the Smiths breaking up. Now, I will not deny their legacy and the impact that they have on music still to this day. Incredible songwriting duo between Morrissey and Johnny Marr. And generally speaking, I really liked what they were doing, combining post-punk with just this fun, groovy garage rock. And Johnny Marr's guitar playing, so unique. And their commitment to just drums, bass, vocals and guitar, I think is really what set them apart at a time when you had all of these bands just working with new technology and really focusing on synths and keyboards and all this other stuff. Now, I know Johnny brought in the keyboards and there's definitely synth elements to the Smiths music, but for the most part, they stuck to this dynamic, and I think it's truly what made them so special. Johnny's guitar playing especially, his use of arpeggios, and he's very well known for it, but I love it. I love how he's developed this sound from influences like Neil Young and George Harrison, but then, combining it again with that groovy garage rock. So you think of guys like Mark Bolan from T-Rex and James Williamson, who recorded Raw Power with the Stooges, and that melding of those two sounds is just really what makes him so fun to listen to and so dynamic. I absolutely freaking love him. I love this new solo record and all of his solo stuff. And yeah, frankly, I think Morrissey is just a woe is me emo dick, and I think he held Johnny back through that process for those years while all the Smiths were making records. I mean, they made, again, undeniably good records, but I don't listen to them. I don't like listening to Morrissey. I would rather listen to Johnny Marr sing. This is just my personal opinion. So again, I know this is very polarizing. I know there are some people that are definitely in my camp, and I know a lot of people that are in the other camp, and we're always just going to have to agree to disagree on this. But you think about what Johnny has done solo versus what Morrissey's done solo. I mean, he's worked with Modest Mouse and the Pretenders, like as parts of the band, as a member of both of those bands. And then he's gone on to work with, like Hans Zimmer is an incredible example of, the way he's branched out. And I didn't know this until I started doing this review and doing a little more research on him, but I didn't realize Johnny Marr helped develop the score for Inception. Totally blew my mind. It's super rad. So I mean, this guy, the Talking Heads he's worked with, he's been an incredible studio musician working for so many different bands. And I think that that's a big part of what has continued to make him so relevant and so influential, is that there's still a very high demand for Johnny Marr, especially in the studio. But I like him solo. I like him doing his own thing. I think he's just one of those guys that is at his best when he's, got full control. And so this new record, it's big, it's gorgeous. He's working with so many different sounds that, they've been there for decades, but this record sounds fresh and it's energetic. And I love it from start to finish. All 16 songs, the way it's divided out into 4 pieces is great. All the different chapters kind of, they just have their own little different feeling and can be thrown on in any order. So I love that about this project. Really a treat. I'm excited to get into the track listing. This thing opens up with Spirit, Power, and Soul. It's got a great riff against this up-tempo post-punk percussion, and just really, I just immediately that feel, that post-punk feel, that new wave blend. And there's a lot of new wave on this record still, but like we talked about, Johnny's doing that stuff with his guitar, and I appreciate him for that. Receiver is your second track. Guitar brings in the song, and I love the way that this song continues the momentum. Great bass on this too. I will say that throughout this record. The guitar riffs and the bass work are just exceptional. I'm so thrilled to listen to this album over and over again, just to hear the different nuances, the different textures and the riffs, truly very special. All These Days, your third song, is a great balance of alternative and new wave. And this particular song, it made me think of, if you're familiar with the band Face to Face, they did this great alternative sounding album called Ignorance is Bliss in the late 90s. And that song definitely has that vibe to it. I really dug it for that reason. Big fan of that album. Ariel is your fourth track. It's funky post-punk, reminding me of Duran Duran a little bit, especially with the style, the guitar tones there. Lightning People is your fifth song. It's got this 90s Brit alternative rock sound. I absolutely loved it. Think of Oasis, Blur. These are bands that, Johnny's worked with as well. I know he's worked with Oasis. I don't think he's worked with Damon, but he may have. Write in the comments below if you know about that, because I would love to see a collaboration between the two if it exists. can't know everything. Your 6th song, Hideaway Girl. I love the big drums. I love the heavy guitars that move in and out of this song. Your 7th song, Sensory Street. It's got this thick, fuzzy synth and just a hard rock and groove. And this is a really good example where I like Johnny's at his heart. I feel like he's just so funky, and this song has really got a nice groove to it. Tenement Time, definitely. I love this song. It's hard rocking. I love the hook. Definitely one of my favorites on this record. I really dig it a lot. The Speed of Love, slower tempo. It's got this like great balance of bright and dark elements. Really reminded me a lot of Depeche Mode, and the bass is sick on this song once again. Night and Day, your 10th song, is another great bass-driven song. There's kind of this cool stretch with that there. Gentle vocal with great guitars. And then as we get into this thing, continue on to Counterclock World. That is your 11th track, thick bass. There's this nice acoustic element, reminded me of Echo and the Bunnymen. So many of these fun, different 80s influences coming into this record, but the way, again, he makes them sound fresh is what makes this such a fun listening experience. Rubicon is your 12th track. This is a very interesting moment on the record. It kind of runs counter to everything, but I think at the moment it fits in really well. It's minimal, it's atmospheric. I really like the change of pace with that song. God's Gift is your 13th track. Again, you get this Duran Duranish groove, just funky, and I love that. I love that so much of it is working on this record. Ghoster is your 14th song. Big fuzzy guitars, and there's kind of like this breakbeat element to it as well. It's one of my favorites. And then your penultimate track, The Whirl, really just another great rock track to bring this thing to a halt. And then it closes out with Human, which is another gentler moment on the record. And considering how energetic this record is overall and how long it is, I think that Human is an excellent way to draw this thing to a close. And I was so pumped about this record going into it, and I wish I could have done this review earlier in the week, but I got busy and this record's a little on the long side. And sometimes I get stuck just enjoying things. I definitely threw a lot of these songs on repeat, and I'm excited to just spin this thing in its entirety again. So obviously we're going to vinyl please this bad boy. I hope you find this review helpful. I really hope you enjoyed listening to this record as well. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We'll see you next time on the Beat Sessions.